My name is Abubakar Saqid Muhammed, or Ustad Abubakar Saqid Muhammed, and I'm, fortunate and opportuned to be at this year's AIHS, Africa International Housing Show, here in Abuja, taking place at the Velodrome of the National Stadium in Abuja. It's been a beautiful day, raining. We thank God for the blessings of the rain. And I'm honored to not just be a participant in terms of being part of the partners, my company Neelds Realty, which is now transformed and morphed to Neelds Group, but also being part of the presenters or speakers on a panel session that has to do with the theme or centered around the theme of, how do we finance our homes, or how do we finance the homes that we need? And we're looking at even alternative financing as well, ethical financing in that regard, so many other sources to cater to the growing needs of Nigerians to have affordable homes, and not just affordable homes, but qualitative affordable homes. Now, I don't need to talk about the housing deficit. All of us are aware of this. All of us are aware of the campaign of the current government, the president of the country, to push the renewed hope housing agenda under the auspices of the Minister of Housing, Architect Dengiwa. And I must say that this is something that is so critical, because after life, or the most important thing to a human after good health and life is shelter. And affordable shelter is one of the most important aspects for every single individual. Unfortunately, we live in a part of the world where that has begun to look like a mirage, like it's not something that can happen. And then recent government policies has further made that even more difficult, because those policies, unfortunately, have affected the cost of construction. Developers today, if they have to go and source for building materials are more expensive in the market. Now, if they have to go and source for finance, because of the increase of MPR, CRR, the lending ratio has decreased, and then the interest rates have gone up severely. For those who are involved in ethical financing or non-interest financing, they also have to deal with high profit rates as well. So it's a huge challenge and a huge problem. Yes, a lot is being done to mitigate it. The Federal Mortgage Bank now that has become more active under the current MD, who is a good friend, and I know he's a very dedicated individual to the cause of Nigerians getting access to finance that enables them get access to homes. So all of this is what the discussion is around, the theme is around this year. That yes, we've talked about quality homes in the past. We've talked about, the efforts of government and private sector. But now we also have to talk about the sad reality of the impact of some policies on financing, and then how do we look at financing homes for likely homeowners. And that gap is widening. And unfortunately, the gap between the haves and the have-nots is also widening. Today, there is no longer a mid-income bracket. You now either have the high-income earners or the low-income earners. And if you had seen a report recently by the chairman of FIRS, he talked about the number of people who have accounts that are actually saving and that actually have gone above the threshold of 500,000, and they were less than 1%. So it means more people are living hand to mouth. So it's going to get more and more difficult for people to finance homes when you are barely earning enough to feed. So that's why this theme for this year, which again, a beautiful thought by the organizers. I commend the team, I commend the convener, and every other person that has been supportive of this. These are conversations that we have to come together to have, because that's how we'll be able to profess solutions and ultimately bring about the change that not just government but private sector collectively working together to achieve. Because we cannot always say government must do everything. No, private sector must also drive sometimes some of those changes, and government just simply provides the enabling environment, gives the policies that supports that growth and development, and ultimately helps the private sector to get to that level that it wants to get to.
Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.